Hello students, welcome to this video class of class 9 computer science. So today in this class we will be discussing chapter 2, that is operating system and its importance. So please turn to page number 31 in your textbook. Let's get started then. So have you seen this person before? এই মানুহজনক দেখিছেনে আগতে? So who is he? He is Bill Gates. His full name is William Henry Gates III. He was born in the year 1955, 28 October 1955. Okay, so he is an American business magnate or businessman. He is also a software developer, a philanthropist, and he is also the founder of Microsoft Corporation. So why are we discussing Microsoft Corporation and Bill Gates in this chapter, that is operating system and its importance? Why are we discussing that? Anyone has any idea about that? No? Okay. So Microsoft Corporation, we are discussing about Microsoft Corporation because one of the most prominent and most widely used operating system, that is Windows operating system, was developed by Microsoft Corporation, and Bill Gates is the founder of Microsoft Corporation. That is why we are learning about him as well in the starting of the chapter. Okay, so Microsoft Corporation, in Microsoft Corporation, he was the founder. So he was also the chairman, chief executive officer, president, and chief software architect as well. So Windows operating system has seen 10 major versions since its release in November 1985. So Windows operating system was released in the year 1985, and after that, a lot of versions came. That is version 1, version 2, like this. A lot of versions came. Now, the current Windows version is Windows 11, right? And Windows 13 is also about to be released within a year or two. Okay, so over 35 years, it's been over 35 years, more than 35 years. Windows looks very different, but somehow familiar with elements that have survived the test of time, and most recently a shift from keyboard and mouse to touchscreen. So since its release in the year 1985, Windows has gone through a lot of changes. Means the operating system changed a lot. But somehow some of the elements remain familiar. Some of the familiar elements remain the same. It survived the time 35 years of a very long time period. Okay? So a shift from keyboard and mouse to touchscreen as well. So nowadays we have a lot of touchscreen devices or touchscreen laptops, touchscreen desktop, touchscreen tablets, touchscreen mobile phones, and Windows has come from PCs to tablets and mobile phone as well nowadays. Okay, so in this chapter we will learn about what is an operating system, its functions and types, some commonly used operating system, and operating system directory structure. Okay, so what you will learn in this chapter? In this chapter you will learn what is an operating system. Operating system mane ki ami hetu hikim. So what are its functions and types, and some commonly used operating system and operating system directory structure. We'll learn all these 5 points. Okay, so let's get started. 2.1, page number 32. Okay, so why to learn operating system? This chapter, the name of this chapter is operating system and its importance. But before reading or before learning anything, we need to know why do you have to learn that thing, right? As you have learned 2 plus 2 equal to 4, why do you already know you need 2 plus 2 equal to 4, right? Anything you need to count, you need to add. And so you need to learn the additions, you need to learn the subtraction in order to do your normal day-to-day things, normal day-to-day calculations. That is why you need to learn addition and subtraction. In a similar way, we need to know if we are learning something, why are we learning something? Why are you learning operating system? Because in a computer system that comprises of hardware and software. We already know that computer system comprises of hardware and software, right? So hardware can only understand machine codes. So we need a system which can act as an intermediary and manage all the processes and resources present in the system. So what is that? We know that hardware can only understand machine codes, that is 0 and 1. Okay, a computer hardware can understand only zeros and 1. But if you want the computer to do some task, or if you want the computer to do some job for you, can you order it in zeros and ones? It will be very difficult, right? So how can you order the computer to do something? So we can tell the computer directly that play this music, or play this video, or record this video, or record this class. So will the hardware understand that? No, the hardware won't understand that. So we need an intermediary, or a person in between, or a translator. We need a translator, or a person on between, or a system in between, in order to understand what we are ordering and converting into machine code that the computer can understand. So you all understood why we need an operating system? We need an operating system because what we say, what we people order, it cannot be understood by the computer. It cannot be understood by the computer, right? So a we need something in between which translate what we speak to the computer and translate it into the computer language, that is machine codes. And what computer speaks, it will convert it into human readable or human understandable language. Okay, that is why we need the operating system, or OS. Okay, so and let's get to the definition of operating system. An operating system is a program which acts as an interface between a user and the computer hardware. This is the definition of operating system. That is, an operating system, or OS, is a program which acts as an interface between the user and the computer hardware. That is, all the computer resources and controls all components of the computer system. Okay, till here you have, when you are asked what is a operating system, then you have to write till this part. Okay, its main goal is to make the computer convenient to use. So if the hardware can understand what we are saying directly, then it will be very convenient, or it will be very easy to talk with the computer, to work with the computer. Okay, so an operating system is a software which performs all the basic tasks like file management, memory management, process management, handling input outputs, and controlling peripheral devices such as disk drive and printers. So operating system does all these things. What it does? It does file management. File management means how the files that you are storing will be stored in the computer. If you want to edit it, it will let you edit it. If you want to copy it or delete it, the operating system will enable all those things. Okay, then memory management, how much memory will be allotted for a particular file. If the memory is empty, it will allow more files to be added. If the memory is full, then it will not allow any more files to be added. All these things. Then process management, that is, if you are doing some task, then if you want to do another task, it will manage between this task and allow you to do a lot of different tasks together, or one after the another. Okay, so this is process management, handling input output, whether your microphone will work or not, whether your speaker will work or not, whether the printer will work or not, or how it will work. All these things comes under handling input output. And controlling peripheral devices such as disk drive, printers. So it will also control the peripheral devices. What are the peripheral devices? The peripheral devices are the extra devices that are added to the computer. Computer that mainly কি থাকে? CPU, input devices and output devices. We all know that, right? Main is the CPU. Then Other than the CPU, all the extra devices that you are using, suppose it is a printer or it is a microphone, all these things comes under peripheral devices. So the peripheral devices will also be handled by the operating system. Okay? So need of an operating system. Now we'll discuss the need of an operating system.
So why do we need an operating system? First point is OS acts as a platform for application program. That is, as you can see in this diagram, below it is computer hardware and above that operating system is installed. Then on the operating system or over the operating system only, the application programs or your softwares are installed. That is the reason why the softwares that you use in a computer system are or they cannot be used in a mobile phone because they have different operating system, right? In your mobile phone there is Android operating system or iOS. So the software's application, the software programs that are there in that operating system or which softwares that you install in your operating system or in your mobile phone that has Android or iOS, those softwares cannot be installed or used in Windows operating system computer. Okay, so OS acts as a platform for application programs. Operating system provides a platform on top of which other programs called applications programs can run. Application program means softwares or applications or apps. Okay, softwares, application softwares, application software or apps. Okay, so these application programs helps the user to perform specific tasks easily, as we all know about that. It is designed in such a manner that it operates, control and executes various applications on the computer. The operating system is designed in such a way that it can operate, it can control and execute various applications or softwares in your computer. Second point is booting. So what is booting? Booting is basically the process of starting the computer. Whenever you switch on a computer, what happens is you could see a screen where a black and white screen or a blue and black screen where you will see different programs Windows is starting like this. Okay, so that part is called booting. Booting is basically the process of starting a computer. This could be a question for your examination. So what is booting? When you will be asked what is booting, you have to write that booting is basically the process of starting a computer. When the CPU is first switched on, it has nothing inside the memory. First of all, the RAM, as you all know, RAM is a volatile memory, right? RAM is a volatile memory. RAM is also known as primary memory. Okay? Primary memory. RAM is also called primary memory. Since it is a volatile memory, that is, when you switch off the computer or when the current or power supply goes off in a computer, then the RAM becomes empty. So when you start a computer, first of all, your operating system will be loaded into the RAM. Therefore, loading the OS to the main memory to start the computer is called booting. Hence, the operating system helps to start the computer when the power is switched on. Third point is consistent user interface. So consistent user interface means throughout all the softwares, throughout all the softwares in your computer or in your mobile phone, the interface will be consistent, means almost same. Okay, the interface or how the close symbol is or what right click does or what left click does, all these things will be same throughout all the softwares. গোটেই software বিলাকত এইবিলাক বস্তু একেই থাকিব, হয়নে নহয়? তো সেইটো বস্তু কোনে provide কৰে? That consistency is provided by the operating system. So operating system provides the user an easy to work user interface. User interface মানে আমি যেনেকে দেখো কম্পিউটাৰটোত য'ত ক'ৰবাত ক্লিক কৰিলে ধৰি লোৱা পিকচাৰ এটাত ক্লিক কোনোবা পিকচাৰ এটা আছে, পিকচাৰটো ওপৰত এনেকৈ ক্ৰছ চিন এটা আছে, ক্ৰছ চিনটোত ক্লিক কৰিলে কি হ'ব, সেই পিকচাৰটো বন্ধ হৈ যাব, হয়নে নহয়? এইটোকে ইণ্টাৰফেচ বুলি কয়, য'ত নেকি আমি ফটো এটা দেখি পিনে তাত ক্লিক কৰিলে বা তাত কিবা এটা টানি আনিলে বা কিবা কৰিলে সেইবিলাক কি হয়, কাম কৰে। সেইটোক কোৱা হয় গ্ৰাফিকেল ইউজাৰ ইণ্টাৰফেচ, GUI। অ'কে, চ' অপাৰেটিং চিষ্টেমটোৱে কি প্ৰভাইড কৰে? ইট প্ৰভাইডছ দ্য a consistent user interface or a similar user interface for all the softwares or all the applications that you use in your system. So the user doesn't have to learn different user interface every time and can focus on the content to be productive as quickly as possible. যদি সবতে বেলেগ বেলেগ থাকিলে হয়, if all the softwares that you use had different interfaces, then it will be very difficult for you to operate each and every softwares, right? So তোমালোকৰ যদি বেলেগ বেলেগ সফটৱেৰত সব বেলেগ বেলেগ ধৰণে ইউজ কৰিব লাগে, তেতিয়াহ'লে কি হ'ব? তেতিয়াহ'লে ইউজ কৰিবলৈ দিগদাৰ হ'ল হয়। বোলে এইটো সফটৱেৰত মাইনাছ চিনটোৱেদি আমি ক্লোজ কৰিব পাৰোঁ, ইটো সফটৱেৰত আমি ক্ৰছ চিনটোৱেদি ক্লোজ কৰিব পাৰোঁ। তেনেকৈ কৰিলে মানে কি হ'ব? আমিতো পাহৰি যাম, ইমানবিলাক বস্তু আমাৰ মনত নাথাকে, হয়নে নহয়? গতিকে লৈ that is why the operating system provides a consistent user interface. Okay? So the fourth point is managing the input-output devices. So operating system helps to manage the input-output devices because all these input-output devices has drivers. DRIVERS. All the input-output devices as drivers, which are required to make use of that input-output device. Suppose you insert a new pen drive or you insert a new keyboard in your operating system or in your computer, then what happens? You will see at below in the taskbar, you will see that there will be installing device driver. You will see that message. That means the device driver or the software that is required to make that hardware work is being installed in your computer. Where will it be installed? It will be installed on your operating system, right? As we all know that all the application softwares are installed on the operating system. So the operating system helps to operate the different input-output devices. The OS decides which program or process can use which device. Moreover, it decides the time of uses. In addition to this, it controls the allocation and deallocation of devices. Suppose you want to print a page or you want to print a picture. So what you will do? You will use the printer. So printer, when the printer will be used, that is, if you press the print button, the printer should work, right? যদি তুমি প্ৰিণ্ট বাটনটো ক্লিক কৰা তেতিয়া প্ৰিণ্টাৰটো কাম কৰিব লাগে, সেই কামটো কোনে কৰিব, সেই কণ্ট্ৰলটো কোনে কৰি থাকিব? It will be controlled by the operating system. So in this way, all the input-output devices are controlled by the operating system. So next is multitasking. Multitasking means doing more than one task at the same time. Okay? কেইবাটাও কাম যদি একেলগে কৰি থাকিব পৰা, then you will be told as a multitasking. You will be called as a multitasking person. Okay? So operating system allows multitasking. That is, operating system allows many multiple programs to run at the same time in their own space and even communicate with each other through shared memory. Okay? So what happens when 2 or 3 tasks are continuously executed? যদি দুটা বা তিনিটা কাম একেলগতে চলাই থকা হয়, তেতিয়া আৰু সিহঁতৰ মাজত কমিউনিকেট কৰিব পৰা হয়। ধৰি লোৱা, suppose now I am using a microphone to record my to speak. Okay, now I'm using a microphone to speak and another software in order to record this video. So 2 of the softwares are running at the same time. That means I am multitasking. Okay, I'm using the feature of multitasking, and both of these are communicating with each other so that the video that is recorded also has the audio through my mic. Okay, মোৰ মাইকৰ থ্ৰুদি অডিঅ'টো গৈ পিনে ভিডিঅ'টোত এটাচ হৈ গৈছে হয়নে নহয়? That is, both of these softwares are multitasking, or sorry, both of these softwares are communicating among themselves. So who allows this? The operating system allows this multitasking. So multitasking, TASK is there. So multitasking gives user good experience as they can perform several tasks on the computer at a time. Okay, so these are why we need an operating system, or you can say that these are the functions of an operating system. Okay, these are also some of the functions of operating system. Another point is platform for other application software. This point is similar to this. Operating system acts as a platform for applications, programs or softwares. Same point. So some other uses of operating systems are, it manages the main memory. It manages the memory. So operating system does another task, that it manages the memory. That how much memory is available, it will show that this much memory is filled and this much memory is empty. So if you want to insert a file in there, or if you want to store something in your computer, then it will allow you to store that file. So if you want to empty this memory, if you want to delete some files, it will allow you to delete these files. If the memory is full, it will not allow you to enter any more data in it. Okay, so these are how the computer manages the memory. So operating system can be used to create different partitions of memory. Suppose you have some C drive, D drive, all these things are managed by the operating system. It helps managing the main memory of the computer. Moreover, it allocates and deallocates memory to all application or tasks. Suppose you are using a software. Suppose you are playing a game. You are playing a game, and at the same time you are doing some you are listening to music. So which software will be allowed how much space in the main memory or the RAM? It will be decided by the operating system. Next is manages the system files. So how the files will be stored, how it will be modified, all these things, how you can interact with the file, how you can access that file, all these things will be managed by the operating system. It helps to manage the file on the system. As we know, all the data on the system is in the form of file. So when you keep a particular song or something, it will be stored as a file, MP3 file, right? If you store a video, then it will be saved as a MP4 or 3GP or something like that, AVI. Okay, these are all different files. So anything that you store in the computer are stored in the form of files. It makes interaction with files easy. So operating system enables this. Next is operating system provides security. It gives the system and application safe through authorization. Authorization means only authorized person, only the person with the password and the username can be able to or will be able to access that computer or the system or any gadgets that you use. So operating system in such a way it provides security. So these are why we need the operating system. So now let's study the functions of operating system. Okay, so the main important functions of an operating system are listed below. First is process management, second memory management, then third is device management, fourth information management, and fifth is file management. We already studied about file management, memory management, etc. here. Okay, manages the memory means memory management, manages the file means file management. Okay, these things we will learn these points in detailed manner here. Okay, so process management. The operating system decides which jobs should use the processor for how long. It allocates the processor to a process and deallocates processor when a process is no longer required. What is a processor? ESSOR. What is a processor? A processor is like the brain of the computer. Okay, when you provide a particular task, when you provide a job to the computer, the operating system will decide whether it will go to the processor or not. As we studied in the block diagram of a computer, the operating system or the control unit will decide which jobs or which task or which files will go to the memory, which file will go to the processor central unit or control unit, right? So operating system does all these things. Since operating system is an interface between the hardware and the softwares, it will decide which files or which processes will be assigned to the processor or which processes will be executed. Whenever a software is executed or whenever you run a software, that files of that software will be processed by the processor, only then the software will work. So operating system allows which software or which files will be sent to the processor for execution. Next is memory management. As we discussed earlier, the operating system keeps tracks of the primary memory, that is, what part of it are in use by whom and what part are not in use. It decides which process will get memory when and how much. It allocates the memory when a process requests it to do so and deallocates the memory when the process no longer needs it or has been terminated. Suppose this is the process and this is the memory RAM. This is the RAM. So it has particular size, right? Suppose your RAM is 1 GB. Your RAM is 1 GB. So you have a suppose you are playing a game of 500 MB. 500 MB game. Suppose you are playing a game of 500 MB. So what happens when you play the game of 500 MB? When you start the game, the files of the game will be sent to the RAM and that will be sent to the processor. Okay. So how much memory will be allowed for the game is decided by the operating system. So when you play the game, how much RAM will be allowed to the game? That will be decided by the operating system. And when you close the game, when you exit the game, that part or the RAM that was allocated to that particular game will be released. Okay? মানে কি হয় যেতিয়া তোমাক গেম এটা খেলা যে গেম এটা যেতিয়া অন কৰা তেতিয়া কি হ'ব সেই গেমটোৰ ফাইলছ বিলাক প্ৰথমতে ৰেমলৈ যাব ৰেমৰ পৰা গৈ পিনে প্ৰচেছৰলৈ যাব এতিয়া অপাৰেটিং সিস্টেমটোৱে কি কৰে বুলি কৈছিলো প্ৰথমতে প্ৰচেছ মেনেজমেন্ট কৰে বা প্ৰচেছৰ মেনেজমেন্ট কৰে মানে প্ৰচেছৰটোত কোনখিনি ফাইল যাব কি নাযাব কেতিয়া যাব এখিনি ডিসাইড কৰে সেকেন্ড পইণ্টটো কি কৈছিলো আমি মেমৰি মেনেজমেন্ট কি এই ৰেমটো কেনেকৈ মেনেজ কৰিব যে এতিয়া ধৰি লোৱা 500 MB RAM এটা 500 MB গেম এটা আছে গেমটো আমি অন কৰিছো অন কৰিলে কি হ'ব সেই গেমটোৰ ফাইলছ বিলাক আমাৰ ৰেমত সোমাব কাৰণ ৰেমৰ সাইজটো আমাৰ কম্পেক্ট হয় মানে ইমান বেছি ডাঙৰ নহয় গতিকে আমি ৰেমটোত ইমানখিনিহে আমি গেমটোলে দিম হয়নে নহয় আৰু যদি কিবা প্ৰসেস চলি আছে ধৰিলা অপাৰেটিং সিস্টেমটো নিজে চলিবলৈ অলপ ৰেম লাগিব নহয় নিজক লোড কৰিবলৈ অলপ ৰেম লাগিব তো হেখিনি ৰেম অপাৰেটিং সিস্টেমক দিয়া আছে অলপ ৰেম দিলে গেমক দিয়ালে তেতিয়া গেমটো যেতিয়া তুমি অফ কৰি দিয়াৰ লগে লগে এই ৰেমৰ যিখিনি পাৰ্ট তোমাৰ গেমটোৱে কভাৰ কৰি আছিল হেখিনি খালি হৈ যাব আৰু এই কামবিলাক কোনে কৰিব that will be done by the operating system okay that means the memory management is done by the operating system so next is device management the operating system manages device communication via their respective drivers as we all studied earlier that if you insert a new keyboard in your computer then what will happen you will see in the taskbar that installing drivers that means the driver or the software that is required for the keyboard to work will be installed okay and since I took the example of the mic and the video editing software or the video recording software that I am using so the mic is in communication with the video recording software for the sound right আমি মাইকটো ইউজ কৰি আছো সাউন্ডটোৰ কাৰণে আৰু ভিডিও ৰেকৰ্ডিংটোৱে ৰেকৰ্ডাৰ সফটওয়্যাৰটোৱে ভিডিওটো ৰেকৰ্ড কৰি আছে আৰু দুইটাৰ মাজত কমিউনিকেশন চলি আছে because in the recorded video I will get both the sound and the video হয় না নহয় okay those communications are enabled by the device management feature of the operating system to এইবিলাক manage কৰি থাকে it keeps track of all the devices and decides which process get the device when and from how much কিমান সময় এই ডিভাইচটোৱে এই প্ৰচেছটো পাব বা এই প্ৰচেছটোৱে কিমান সময় সেই ডিভাইচটো চলাব এই গোটেইবিলাক ডিচাইড কোনে কৰে it is decided and it is controlled by the operating system. So it allocates and deallocates the device in efficient way. That is, my mic is being used with a video editing software right now. So when I close the program or the video recording software, it removes the mic from it removes the communication between the mic and the video editing software as well. So it allocates and deallocates the device in an efficient way. Okay. So next is information management. So the information will be managed by the operating system as well. A computer system works with information, as we all know. Computer system main kame hol ki information like process kora, hoine noy. The main job of a computer is to process the information, right? So it store information, process information, and provide information. All these things are done. All these things are managed by the operating system. Okay. So next is file management. So how the files and folders and directories on the system will be used, how it will be changed or modified, all these things are controlled by the operating system. The operating system manages the files, folder, and directory system on a computer. So these are the main functions of an operating system. Now let's discuss about the different types of operating system. First of all, in this class, we studied about what is an operating system, why do we need an operating system, then what are the functions of our operating system. Now we are going to discuss what are the different types of operating system that are there. So based on the different functionalities or based on the different tasks or based on the different jobs, we need different operating system. First is batch processing operating system or batch operating system. You can also say it as batch operating system. So this type of operating system does not interact with the computer directly. There is an operator which takes similar job having the same requirement and group them into batches. It is the responsibility of the operator to sort jobs with similar needs. Example are payroll system, bank statement, etc. So what happens in this operating system is, why it is called batch operating system means, first of all, you need to know what a batch means. Batch mane ki hoy etu janibo lagibo tomalke. Suppose, for example, you are a batch. You are a batch of class 9, 2025, right? In 2025, you people are in class 9. So you are a batch of 2025 of class 9. Okay? So batch means similar entities or similar files or similar people who are in a similar, who are working or who are having some similar qualities. Okay, suppose there are a lot of works, suppose there are a lot of tasks. Roll number 1 is giving a task to the computer to add 125 plus suppose 1862. Okay, another roll number 6, suppose he wants to add 586 or something number, he want to add 2 numbers. Roll number 12 also wants to add 2 numbers, and roll number 1 wants to listen to music, roll number 2 wants to listen to another music, roll number 3 wants to do some, wants to create some document, roll number 6 also wants to create some document. What in batch operating system, what happens? All these similar jobs, that is roll number 3 and roll number 6, they wants to what? They wants to create documents. Roll number 1 and roll number 2 wants to listen to music. Roll number 5 and roll number 6 wants to calculate or wants to do sum of 2 numbers. Okay, all these will be grouped as batches. All these will be grouped as batches, and these batches will be fetched or will be entered into the computer system or into the batch computer system. Batch operating system will be fetched into the batch operating system for processing, and it will process all these jobs, all these tasks as
batches. Okay, so this is how batch operating system works. The user in batch operating system, the user cannot interact with the computer directly. Okay, so when you have certain task, you give it to the operator. Batch operating system কি হয় user বিলাকে আমি user মানে আমি directly কম্পিউটাৰটো মানে কম্পিউটাৰটো ইউজ কৰিব নোৱাৰো আমাৰ যদি কিবা কাম থাকে আমি প্ৰথমতে অপাৰেটৰজনক দি দিব লাগিব অপাৰেটৰজনে সিমিলাৰ জব বিলাক এটা এটা বেটচ হিচাপে বনাই লয় বেটচ মানে কি কৈছিলো the job or the task or the entities with similar characteristics okay একে ধৰণৰ কাম বিলাক বা একে ধৰণৰ মানুহ বিলাক বা একে ধৰণৰ এইবিলাকক বেটচ বুলি কয় হয়নে নহয় যেনেকৈ তোমালোকৰ এটা বেটচ ক্লাছ 9 ৰ 2025 এটা বেটচ হয়নে নহয় তো এই বেটচ বনাই লৈ তাৰ পিছত কম্পিউটাৰটোক দি দিয়ে আৰু সেই বেটচ হিচাপে কম্পিউটাৰটোৱে সেই টাস্ক বিলাক সেই কাম বিলাক কৰে those tasks are done or executed in batches okay and only after one batch is completed another batch is entered into the computer okay so a batch operating system কি হয় আৰু এটা কথা যে এটা বেটচ শেষ হোৱাৰ পিছতে বেলেগ এটা বেটচ আৰম্ভ হ'ব আৰু বেটচটো চলি থাকোতে মাজতে কোনেও আকৌ আহি ইন্টাৰেক্ট কৰিব নোৱাৰে এই বেটচটোৰ ডাটা বিলাকৰ লগত খেলিমেলি কৰিব নোৱাৰে বেটচটো শেষ হোৱাৰ পিছতহে আউটপুটটো ওলোৱাৰ পিছতহে আমি সেই আউটপুটটো চাব পাৰিম okay this is how the batch operating system work when you are asked for example of batch operating system you can say that the batch operating system are examples of batch operating system are payroll system bank statement system etc okay so I will give you some detailed notes about this operating system different types of operating system or later on so you can study those too so next is distributed operating system distributed operating system means suppose you are what you are buying a computer you're buying a high performance computer it will cost you very high suppose you need 5 GB RAM you need 5 GB RAM 5 TB hard disk 5 TB hard disk and a processor of 5 gigahertz and a processor of 5 gigahertz but this will cost you around 80 to 90,000 80 to 90,000 80 to 90,000 but you don't have that much money okay মানে তোমালোকে যদি হাই পারফরম্যান্স কম্পিউটার এটা লব লাগে বহুত হাই কনফিগারেশন থকা কম্পিউটার এটা লব লাগে তেতিয়া বা কাম এটা কৰিব কাৰণে তেতিয়া কি হ'ব বহুত টকা ভৰিব লাগিব কিন্তু তোমাৰ ওচৰত যদি ইমান টকা নাই তুমি কি কৰিব পাৰা অলপ কম দামী কম কনফিগারেশনৰ কেইবাটাও কম্পিউটাৰ লৈ লব পাৰা কিনি লব পাৰা কম দামতে হ'ব 5000 10000 তে পাই যাব হয়নে নহয় তিনটা কম্পিউটাৰ কিনি ললা তোমাৰ এটো 2GB কে থাকিলেও 6GB হৈ গল 6GB RAM হৈ গল okay 1.5 TB বা 2 TB কে থাকিলেও 6 TB হৈ গল হয়নে নহয় সো হেতু তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কম্পিউটাৰ কিটা তোমালকে 10000 মানতে পাবা সো 10 into 3 equal to 30,000 ত তোমালকৰ হৈ গল কোড নেকি এটো 80,000 to 90,000 আসলে তো এটা কি হ'ব in distributed operating system what happens is this type of operating system is designed to share the workload over multiple servers to get maximum efficiency okay so what happens in this type of distributed operating system যিকোনো কাম এটা ধৰিলে তোমালোকৰ আছে এই কামটো তিনটা পাৰ্টত ভাগ কৰিব a task will be divided into 3 parts and it will be sent for execution to 3 different computers তিনটা বেলেগ বেলেগ কম্পিউটাৰলে পঠাই দিব okay this part 1 will be executed by computer 1 part 2 will be executed by computer 2 part 3 will be executed by computer 3 so all the outputs from these 3 computers will be processed and sent back to you তোমাক পঠাই দিব আউটপুট হিচাপে okay okay তোমাৰ কাম এটা আছিল কামটো কি তিনি ভাগ কৰি তিনটা কম্পিউটাৰক দি দিলা এবাক এবাককে আৰু সেই কম্পিউটাৰ কিটা এখিনি প্ৰসেস কৰি পিনে তোমাক আউটপুটটো দিলে so this way the work will be completed within a short period of time এটাই যদি এজন মানুহে যদি এটা কাম কৰি থাকে ডাঙৰ কাম এটা কৰি থাকে তে বহুত টাইম লাগি যাব হে একেটা কামকে যদি তিনজন মানুহে কৰে তো পটাপট হ'ব হয়নে নহয় okay so what happens
you will get maximum efficiency. The batch operating system allows you to get maximum efficiency because it shares data and resource among its multiple servers. Okay? For example, examples of distributed operating system are Unix and Linux. So next is real-time operating system. So what is real-time operating system? Real-time, as you can see, real-time means instantly. Okay? সেই সময়তে within a particular deadline. DEADLINE. Within a particular deadline. মানে টাইম এটা দিয়া আছে। সেই টাইমটোৰ মতে হিমান সময়তে তুমি কামখিনি কৰি শেষ কৰিব লাগিব। Suppose you were given a timetable that your exam will start from 15th of July or 28th of June. Suppose your exam will start from 28th of June. So this is the deadline. এইটো ডেডলাইন এটা দিয়া আছে আৰু যিমানখিনি পঢ়িব লাগে তোমালোকে এই 28 of Juneৰ আগতে পঢ়ি শেষ কৰিব লাগিব, otherwise your results will be bad, right? So in this manner there are deadlines in particular jobs, in the different jobs that are used, okay, that are given to the operating system. Then that operating system is called real-time operating system. Real-time operating system has particular deadlines for particular job. Okay? So in real-time operating system, the job has fixed deadlines and the job have to be completed within their deadline. The system performance is measured by the ability to complete its job within the specific deadline. যিবিলাক কাম আমি পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ ডেডলাইনৰ ভিতৰত কমপ্লিট কৰিবই লাগিব, সেই তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কামবিলাক কৰিবৰ কাৰণে আমি এটা অপাৰেটিং চিষ্টেম ইউজ কৰোঁ, and that operating system is called real-time operating system. For example, Linux OS, Windows CE, etc. So these are examples of real-time operating system. Next is interactive operating system. So what is interactive operating system? Interactive operating system মানে কি? Interactive operating system are computer system characterized by significant amount of interaction between human and the computer. Etu completely ulta kihor logot? Batch operating system or logot completely ulta. A batch operating system or logot completely ulta etu. Hoy noy? Batch operating system ot interact koriboi nware aru interactive operating system ot ami continuously interact kori thakibo paru computer to logot. Okay? Most users have grown up with Macintosh or Windows operating system, which are prime examples of graphical interactive systems. So the operating system that I'm using to record this video is also an interactive operating system. That is Windows operating system. Okay? Games and simulations are interactive systems. Okay? So next is time sharing system. Time sharing system means a time-sharing operating system allows many users to share the computer resource simultaneously, means at the same time. Okay? The operating system allows many users to use the same resources or the same component. Suppose a printer. This printer will be allowed to multiple users or many users at the same time. Okay? In other words, time sharing refers to the allocation of computer resources in time slots to several programs simultaneously. The time allowed is extremely small and the users are given the impression that they each have their own CPU and they are the sole owner of the CPU. Okay? So, কি হয় ইয়াত time sharing operating system ত কি হয়? কেইবাজন মানুহে একেটা সিস্টেমে ইউজ কৰিব থাকিব পাৰে। Suppose this is a system. This is a system. And user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5, all these people are allowed to use this system. This has time sharing operating system. A computer to time sharing operating system ase boli dhorilo. Okay? Aru ebilak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ebilak sob eta user. To time sharing operating system, what it does? It allows each user
to use the computer simultaneously or at the same time গোটেই কিজনে একেলগতে ইউজ কৰি থাকিব পাৰিব but there is a catch তাত কিন্তু এটা catch এটা আছে বা এটা হেৰি এটা আছে টেকনিক এটা আছে কেনেকৈ দিব প্ৰত্যেকজন ইউজাৰক all the user each user will be given a very short time to use this computer and this all the users will be given a very short time to use these computers and each user will feel like as if the whole system is under his control only মানে যেতিয়া প্ৰত্যেকজন ইউজাৰক একদম কম টাইম দিব ইউজ কৰিবলৈ তেতিয়া কি হ'ব এজনে ইউজ কৰিলে ধৰি লোৱা তাৰপিছত লগে এজনে ইউজ কৰিলে 1 সেকেন্ডৰ ভিতৰতে লগে এজনে ইউজ কৰিলে তাৰ লগে এজনে ইউজ কৰিলে আকৌ এজনে ইউজ কৰিলে তেতিয়া কিমান 2 সেকেন্ডে ৰবলগীয়া হল কাম এটা কৰিবৰ কাৰণে ওৱানে হয়নে নহয় তো ওৱান নামৰ ইউজাৰজনৰ এনেকুৱা ফিল হল যে গোটেই কম্পিউটাৰটো অকলে ইউজ কৰি আছে so this is how the time sharing operating system works বুজি পালানে কেছটো কম্পিউটাৰ সিস্টেম এটাই ইউজ কৰি আছে কেইবাজন ইউজাৰে কিন্তু প্ৰত্যেকজন ইউজাৰক অলপ টাইম হে দিলে তো অলপ টাইম দিয়াৰ কাৰণে কি হল ধৰি লোৱা ইউজাৰ 1 জনে যদি ইউজ কৰিবলৈ কম্পিউটাৰটো 1 সেকেন্ড ইউজ কৰিলে আকৌ 2 সেকেন্ডৰ পিছত আকৌ ইউজ কৰিবলৈ পালে এনেকৈ পাই থাকোতে ইউজাৰজনৰ এনেকুৱা ফিল হল যে কম্পিউটাৰটো কমপ্লিটলি তেৱে ইউজ কৰি আছে আধা ঘন্টা 1 ঘন্টা ৰৈ থাকিবলগীয়া হোৱা নাই তেও ইউজ কৰিবলৈ হয় না তেতিয়া গম পালে হয় তেতিয়া বেলেগ এজন ইউজাৰে ইউজ কৰি আছে মই আধা ঘন্টা ৰব লাগিব কিন্তু 1 সেকেন্ড বা 2 সেকেন্ড ৰবলগীয়া হলে কি হ'ব তেও ফিলেই নহব যে তেও ৰবলগীয়া হৈছে হয়নে নহয় that means the time allowed is extremely small and the users are given the impression তেওঁলোকৰ এনেকুৱা impression হৈ যাব যে they each have their own CPU তেওঁলোকৰ নিজৰ কাৰণে গোটেই CPU টো তেওঁলোকৰ নিজৰ কাৰণে আছে বেলেগে ইউজ কৰা নাই and they are the sole owner of the CPU okay so this is how the time sharing operating system works so next is network operating system these systems run on server and provide the capability to manage data users groups security application and other networking functions this type of operating system allows shared access to file printers security application and other networking functions over a small private network. Example Unix, Linux, Mac OS, X, Arc, etc. etc. It should be etc. Mac OS, etc. Okay. So network operating system means network. First of all, you need to know what a network means. When you connect two computers or two systems, suppose you want to send a file from one mobile phone to another mobile phone. First of all, what you will do? You will connect both the mobile phones. Okay? It can be wireless. It can be wireless or wired. Wireless হ'ব পাৰে, wired হ'ব পাৰে. Wireless মানে কি? Bluetooth যদি connect কৰিছা বা Wi-Fi যদি connect কৰিছা তেতিয়া এটো wireless হ'ব যদি wire দি connect কৰিছা বা data cable দি connect কৰিছা then it will be wired so যেতিয়া তোমালকে দুটা device connect কৰা দুটা mobile phone বা দুটা computer connect কৰা when you connect two mobile phones or two devices by using a connecting media that is it can be wireless by Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or by using a data cable that is wired and you can transfer data among these computers or these mobile phones then that is called a network this is the simplest network etoi atakke simple network to hoy okay so this is the simplest network so you can connect two devices using a wire or without using a wire with Bluetooth or wireless and when you can transfer data among them then it is called a network so what is network operating system network operating system are the operating systems that are used in networks so what it will allow কি allow কৰিব যে it will allow us to manage data users groups security applications and other networking function এই গোটেই function বিলাক use কৰিবলৈ কাৰণে ই allow কৰিব moreover it will allow shared access file printer security applications and other networking functions over a small private network. So it will allow to share files. Suppose file eta ase yate etu computer aru yate ejon user ase eta beleg eta computer ase yate eta beleg eta computer ase. So ejon user etu file access koribo paribo mane sabo paribo ba edit koribo paribo. Ejon user etu file access koribo paribo sabo paribo ba edit koribo paribo. They can do both of these computers can access this file and edit this file. So the operating system that are required to do this is called network operating system. Is it clear now? So here are some of the operating systems. Some of the operating system include Windows, Unix, Linux, Mac operating system, iOS, Android, BOS. You study about this operating system, okay? These are just theories. So Windows, Microsoft created Windows operating system in the mid 1980s. There have been many different versions of Windows, but most recent one are Windows 10 that was released in 2015. Now Windows 11 is released and 13 is about to be released. So Windows come preloaded with most new PCs, which helps to make it most popular operating system in the world. So likewise, you study all these different types of operating systems. Sometime you will be asked question to write about a particular operating system. Suppose Android operating system. So what is Android operating system? Where is it used? In this way you have to write about this operating system. There is an operating system that is indigenous to India. That is Bharat operating system, BOS. Okay. Bharat Operating System Solutions, or BOS, is an operating system developed by Center of Development of Advanced Computing, or CDAC, Chennai, in order for enhancing and gain benefit from the uses of free and open source software, or FOSS, throughout India. BOS GNU Linux is an Indian Linux distribution derived from Debian operating system. The latest stable version 8.0 Unnati was released on 15th October 2019. Okay, so this is a Indian operating system. So you may sometime be asked, name one Indian operating system. Then you have to write BOS operating system is an Indian operating system. It was developed by CDAC, or Center for Development of Advanced Computing, Chennai, and it was developed from Linux distribution derived from Debian operating system. Debian operating system to edit kori pine a BOS operating system to bonaise. Okay, the latest stable version to naam to ki Unnati. It is the version 8.0 by 8.0. It was released in 15th October 2019. Okay, so sometimes you may hear 32-bit, 64-bit like this. Okay, so what is 32-bit and 64-bit operating system? আমি নাম্বাৰ চিষ্টেম পঢ়োতে আমি কিবা এটা গম পাইছিলো যে কম্পিউটাৰ মেমৰি বিলাক বা কম্পিউটাৰ হেৰিবিলাক কি 2 to the power something x 2 to the power x কে আমি হিসাব কৰো হয় না নহয় because it is binary হয় না নহয় so a 32-bit operating system can access 2 to the power 32 memory addresses মানে তোমাৰ 32-bit operating system এটাই 4GB RAM বা 4GB RAM হে access কৰিব পাৰিব. Okay. Likewise, a 64-bit system can access 2 to the power 64 memory addresses. That is actually 18 trillion bytes of RAM. Okay. So this is the difference. Difference to ki hoy? 32-bit system eta operating system eta ki koribo pare? 2 to the power 32. 2 to the power 32 means how much? 4GB RAM है access কৰিব পাৰিব physically. Physical memory ideally ইমানটো access কৰিব আৰু বহাব পাৰি কিন্তু ideally generally ইমানটো হে memory access কৰিব পাৰিব. Generally it can access only this much memory, that is 4GB of RAM. So but a 64-bit system can access 2 to the power 64-bit memory, more than 4GB RAM, more than its double. Okay. So next is operating system directory structure. So how the directory structure is maintained, or how the directory structure look like? So how the directory structure exists in the operating system? Directory structure mane, directory means folders. How the folders are stored or how the folders are organized in an operating system. The directory is a container that is used to contain folders and files. A directory will কি হয়? It is a container. Container মানে কি এটা box বুলি ক'ব পৰা হয় নে নহয় বা এটা জেগা, a place which is used to contain folders and files. A directory may contain folders and files. It organizes files and folder into hierarchical manner. Hierarchical মানে sorted manner. Okay? There are several logic structures in the directory. A file system contains thousands and millions of files owned by several users. The directory structure organizes this file by keeping entries of all the related files. Okay? File dhei ase. Okay? You have lot of files in your computer system or in your mobile phone. So all these files are organized into particular folders or directories. All these files and folders are organized into particular folders and directories by your operating system. To get the benefit of different file system on different operating system, a hard disk can be divided into a number of partitions or different sizes. These partitions are also called volumes or mini disk. So in order to organize these files and file system or in organize your files into directories and all, so a hard disk can also be divided into a number of partitions. Suppose C drive, D drive দেখিছানে? এইবিলাকক কি কোৱা হয়? These are called partitions. These are called partitions. And operating system helps to create these partitions in your hard disks. These are virtual partitions. These are virtual partition. এইবিলাক virtual partition হয়. এইবিলাক physical নহয়. মানে তোমাৰ hard disk খনত কি থাকে? এনেকে disk এখনে থাকে। হয় নহয়? ডিস্কখন থাকে, ডিস্কখনত এনেকে ডাটাবিলাক সোমাই থাকে, ডাটাবিলাক ইয়াতে ভাগ কৰি পিনে এডোখৰ এডোখৰ ডিস্ক তুমি লগাব নোৱাৰা নহয়, গোটেই ডিস্কখন এখনেই থাকিব। চিডি ডিস্কবিলাক দেখিছা নহয়, হয়নে নহয়? চিডি ডিস্কবিলাক কি কৰিব পাৰি? তোমালোকে ফল্ডাৰ বনাই বনাই চিডি ডিস্কটো ভাগ কৰি দিব পাৰা বেলেগ বেলেগকে, হয় নহয়? ঠিক তেনেকৈ কম্পিউটাৰবিলাকত চি ড্ৰাইভ, ডি ড্ৰাইভ, ই ড্ৰাইভ এনেকে বনাই পিনে আমি কম্পিউটাৰটোত ডিস্কখন ভাগ কৰি দিব পাৰোঁ ভাৰ্চুৱেলি। ইট ইজ নট ফিজিকেল। অ'কে? So these partitions are also called volumes. A partition বিলাকক কি কোৱা হয়? They are also called volumes or mini disk. Mini disk বুলিও কোৱা হয় বা volumes বুলিও কোৱা হয়. So each partition must have at least one directory in which all the files of the partition can be listed. A directory entry is maintained for each file in the directory which stores all the information related to that file. So directoryটোত কি থাকে? এই ফাইলবিলাক কোনটো ফাইল ক'ত আছে ক'ত নাই এই গোটেই ডিটেইলছ বিলাক, all these details are stored in the directory. The file entries have information like file name, type, location, the mode in which the file can be accessed by other users in the system. Okay? File entries বিলাকতে গোটেই বিলাক থাকিব। কি কি থাকিব? Informations like file name থাকিব, ফাইলৰ টাইপটো থাকিব, MP3 হয় নে, ডকুমেন্ট হয় নে, কি হয়, লোকেশ্যন কোনটো জেগাত ষ্ট'ৰ কৰি থোৱা হৈছে, কোনটো মোডত থোৱা হৈছে, মানে কোন কোন ইউজাৰক সেই ফাইলটো ইউজ কৰিবলৈ দিব, সেই ফাইলটো exe ফাইল হয় নে, ৰিড অনলি ফাইল হয় নে, এক্সিকিউটেবল ফাইল নে হয়, কি হয়, এই গোটেইবিলাক ডিটেইলছ ফাইল এন্ট্ৰিজ বিলাকত থাকিব। All the details will be stored in the file entries. The two important features that must be taken care while maintaining a directory are given below. ইয়াতে দুটা feature আছে which must be taken care of. So first is the user must have freedom of giving the desired name to the file without taking into consideration that the same file names are used by other users on the system. First is this rule. So second is a user must be able to share the file he creates and he must also be able to access the file created by other users. So these two are the features, two very important features that must be taken care of while maintaining the directory. Okay? So first is all the users must have the freedom of giving the desired name to the file or naming the file. ফাইলটো তুমি যদি ৰাখা সেই ফাইলটোৰ নাম দিয়া, তুমি যিকোনো নাম এটা সিলেক্ট কৰিব পাৰা বা যিকোনো নাম এটা দিব পাৰা। ওকে? নেক্সট, ফাইল এটা যদি ষ্ট'ৰ কৰা তুমি সেই ফাইলটো এক্সেছ কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব, সেইটো এলাউ কৰিব লাগিব অপাৰেটিং চিষ্টেমে। আৰু লগতে বাকিবিলাক ইউজাৰে ষ্ট'ৰ কৰা ফাইলবিলাকো তুমি এক্সেছ কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব। Okay, those two important features must be taken care while maintaining the directory. So this is the directory, directory 1. So in this directory, another directories can exist. আৰু directory থাকিব পাৰে, এটা suppose এটা folder আছে, folderটোৰ ভিতৰত আৰু folder থাকিব পাৰে, আৰু সেই folder কেইটাৰ ভিতৰত এটা file সোমাই থাকিব পাৰে, বেলেগ বেলেগ, হয়নে নহয়? Okay. A directory always has information about the group of related files. So this directory will contain all the information of this directory, this and this. Okay, and this directory will have all the information about these files, right? This directory will have all the information about these files. Whenever a user or the process requests a file, the file system searches for the file entry in the directory. When the match is found, it obtains the file location from there. Okay, so when you need, suppose you need file 1, F1. So it will send a request to directory 11. So this directory will contain all the information about these files. So it will give the user that this file is there, or if it is not there, then it will say that this file is not there. So there are various types of information which are stored in the directory. So what are the information? Name, type, location, size, position, protection, uses, etc. So these are explained in details in here. So what is name? Name is the name of the directory which is visible to the user. So type of the directory means what type of directory is present, such as single level directory or two level directory, etc. Single level directory means this is a single level directory, that is there is only one level. This is a two level directory, so there is one level and there is another level, two level directory. So all this. Next, location. The location is the location of the device where the header of the file is located. So where the file is located, that is the location. So then size. Size means number of words, blocks or bytes in the file. So what is the file size? That is size. So next is position. Position means the position of the next read pointer to the next write pointer. So when we when we try to understand what next read pointer or what next write pointer is, so suppose here the next read pointer, the first of all the pointer is here. So when you search a file, the pointer is here. First of all you search here in the parent directory. Then from here you will know that it is in, suppose, directory 11. So now the pointer is here. Okay. Next, when you are trying to find the file F2, you will search here. Then you will come to know that that file F2 is in directory 11. So you have to, the read pointer should go here, D11. So in D11 the record of file F2 is there. So the next read pointer will go to this part. So the position means the next read pointer and the next write pointer, where it is, all these things are mentioned in the position. So next, protection. Protection means access control on the read, write, delete, execute. So any file, suppose this file is executable, executable. This file is only read only. Okay, this file is with read and write, what? Read and write access. Okay, it has read and write permission. So you can read this file as well as you can edit the file contents of this file. But you can only read this file, you cannot write in this file. This file you can read, write as well as you can execute this file. Okay, so this is the protection. So next is uses. Uses means the time of creation, modification and access. All this will be recorded as well. Okay, when the file was created, at what time it was modified, and who can access, and when it was accessed. All these things, all these details will be lodged. All these details will be recorded in the uses. Key learned in this chapter. Keywords learned in this chapter. In this chapter, we learned about different operating system, what are multi-user operating system, multitasking. We learned about directory as well. We learned about the different operating system, Windows operating system, iOS, Linux operating system, Android operating system, all these things. Okay, so this is the lesson number 2. I hope you understood this lesson. I hope you understood everything I said in this video. If you have any doubts, you can contact me. You can ask your question in the WhatsApp group, or you can send a message to me directly. So I think everything is clear. So study the lesson after watching this video. You read the lesson properly again. You try to understand what all the sentences mean in the lesson, and you try to do the question answers as well. If you do not understand anything, please feel free to ask. All the best. Thank you.